Actually, we've got to talk over there. Right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. So we should do a kind of a New Year update, which is kind of what people do on YouTube. Normally they say a big spiel about, oh, I'm going to work so hard, we're going to do all this, we're going to do that, we're going to achieve. We're not going to do that.
No, because, do you want to know why?
Go on.
Because actually, New Year shouldn't be on the 1st of January. That was actually brought in, I think it was in 1752 or something like that. So quite recently, in the last few hundred years. Before that, obviously, the New Year was when spring began. So it used to be celebrated on the 25th of March.
No, I think it's quite like the done thing for people to announce at the start of the year they're gonna crush it, and I just think we're not gonna do that.
We will be doing that on the 25th of March. So
yeah, so tune in.
Come back then.
Yeah, we'll have
we'll
motivation.
be crushing it then.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just resting. We had a bit of a mad one up until Christmas, which every year we try and say that we're going to do less and less and less.
And we did do less.
We did a bit less than last year.
But it's hard, isn't it?
But we
and again, it's in winter when we should be all slowing down, and instead we're all buzzing about buying stuff in the shops for people that they don't
we
want.
minimised our purchasing of tat as best we could this year. We still got some gifts. We agreed some.
Yeah, we were very
bilateral
blessed.
non-gifting agreements, didn't we? Which we
But what we did get was beautiful.
Yeah.
Very thoughtful, beautiful family and friends gifts, and for each other.
Which we put up on the channel, some of the BSA stuff. So, in the other big news is that we've actually relocated to the Costa Brava.
Hence the surroundings. You can't see any Buddhas or art on the walls.
It's a new sofa.
It's much more simple.
Yeah.
There is a Buddha, don't worry.
There
is a Buddha.
There's
here.
always a Buddha.
There's also crystals and incense. So that's why we had to fill a car full of stuff, because predominantly it was full of my clothes and crystals.
Yeah, Suzie brought a lot of coats.
Essential oils.
Well, did you bring a lot of coats?
No, I didn't bring a lot of coats.
Not a lot.
That's why
Two
Sean
coats.
beautifully gifted me this scarf yesterday. Look at it. It's amazing.
She's been wanting to mention
Because it's cold.
Yeah, so usually we fly to somewhere, don't we, to spend some time.
Mexico or...
But this year we decided to drive, so we wouldn't have to pay the money to rent a car. And the other bonus was we could take more stuff to the place and hopefully stay for longer, but with some of the stuff that we're used to. Otherwise, we're just trying to fit everything into suitcases for that 20 kilo limit, and it's just a bit of a pain.
Especially when it's wintry, because the problem with here is, well, the benefit of here is that it is cold right now. It's not as cold as the UK. It's sunny and dry, so perfect.
There's no floods.
But it is cold, but that means that you do need coats and stuff, which take up loads of space. And then as soon as March comes, it's boiling. So you need that, like, a bit of warmth, a bit of cold stuff. But I did not bring a warm coat.
No, so we've arrived with a car full of stuff, and now we've got to go shopping for coats. Well, goodness,
that wasn't orchestrated on purpose.
No, this is what happens. Right. So yeah, the plan is or has been to come to Spain, have a look round, and then see if we can find a place to relocate to. But thing is, I think most people I was thinking about this, most people who relocate to Spain or Portugal or Italy or whatever.
Yeah, we're open.
They do it later in life, and they've spent like 20 years going on holiday every year to a set place. I think they know about where they should go. They're like, right, this is where we need to go.
Yeah, and they're maybe not so open. Like, we're very open, aren't we?
We need to learn about the areas, don't we? That's our
but like
objective.
Whereas some people might have only gone on holiday somewhere, they might have only seen one place or two places in Spain and Portugal. Our idea is that we know what we're looking for, and we're open to find that wherever it is.
Yeah,
we're not
location independent, aren't we? We just got a set of things. We want to be able to ride motorcycles pretty much all throughout the year. And I know, for example, Mr. Darty and the Old Man, they put up a video saying that it's really difficult to ride but also review motorcycles in Wales.
It's impossible.
But
not even in the UK.
He actually lives in a really... You've seen his videos. The backdrop is stunning, but it's just...
Yeah, but it's pissing it down all the time.
Remember the swearing?
Beep.
We'll have to
Just
cut
beat
that
me
bit
out.
Yeah.
No, but for real.
Yeah, it's a real dampener.
It's so wet. Like
excuse the
Sean,
pun.
over the last few months, I would say every day is looking outside and it's usually wet on the ground. Seasonal depression is really real.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like like the grey and the dark is too much for me. Here it's cold, but it's a lot warmer and it's dry and it's sunny.
Yeah, it's the weather, isn't it? I mean,
Beautiful blue sky. The last night the sky was like rich blue with stars, wasn't it? It's amazing. I haven't seen a sky like that for months.
yeah. And also the other thing to mention is that there's a lot of people who subscribe to the channel. Like, for example, Nigel, who's been really helpful in giving me advice and lists of places to visit and see. Really, really helpful. Also, there's Peter, who lives in France, Nick, who lives in Thailand, and all these people. When they write the messages, about going out on the bikes, or it's usually in the comment section, they just have a kind of a positive energy behind the comment. You can just tell that they're enjoying their life wherever they are. So there's a lot of expats actually who subscribe and are on the channel. And when I read the comment, I'm actually usually more interested about where they're from, what they're doing, rather than the topic about the motorcycle, because it's a big passion of ours and big plan to try and move somewhere.
Not try. We're doing it.
We're doing it, yeah. 2024 is the year to do it. We haven't set a resolution or anything. We've just decided, right, we need to start taking it seriously.
And we
have a big plan to look around.
Sorry.
Go on.
We had to pause because I was ill for so long.
Yeah.
So we started this journey 4 years ago. And then obviously I was ill for 18 months to 2 years. So that was all put on hold because although we went on little trips, I couldn't do this. Like, we're here now and I can go out and about and look around. When we were in Spain last time, I couldn't do anything. I just stayed in the apartment the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, luckily, Sean picks beautiful apartments. So it's fine with views, sea views and stuff, but it was tough. So one thing I am grateful for is being able to be here, being able to get on the back of the bike together and explore all these areas.
We haven't actually mentioned that bit yet. Back of the bike. So that's the other thing which happened. So if you've watched the video up until now, this is a bit which we've never done before. I've hired a bike before in a foreign country, but it's extremely expensive. This time...
And you don't get what you want. We always end up with some enormous adventure bike.
Oh, it was a disaster, which we fell off, but that's... we should tell that story when we fell off.
Oh my God.
Right. So it was in my earlier days of motorcycling when I thought, big adventure bike, big guy, big adventure bike, it'd be really cool.
It, didn't you? You knew it was going to be too big.
Oh,
excuse me.
Right, we'll pause the video there. We'll come back when she's answered the phone.
Hello.
It should be delivered to you within 2 to 5 minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
No problem. Have a great day.
And you take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Right, Susie's back in the room, quite literally. So yes, this time...
No, we haven't said about... We were telling the story about the...
Africa Twin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hired the Honda Africa Twin 1100, partly because I wanted to review it, and at that stage I was kind of into adventure bikes a little bit. I was going through a phase. And
you were going off at the mountain where we were staying. There was area to go on an adventure bike. The road ended and it was trails, so
it
Sean
seemed
could
like
do
a
that.
good idea at the time. So we hired it, and it was about 700 euros for 6 days. Like, it was an obscene amount of money, wasn't it?
I thought you were going to say 700 kilos because it was about 700 kilos.
It was about
as
700
well.
kilos, yeah. It was crazy. So we had the DCT version, which had
which means
10
automatic.
kilos more weight.
Yeah.
We had the full luggage on there,
And me.
and you, and we'd been shopping and bought like 5 kilos of potatoes and carrots and these vegetables, which were all put in the panniers.
And they're all really high. So think about the weight on some of these adventure bikes. They're not low down at all. So me as the pillion was high, and then the boxes are behind me, and they're also really high. It's actually really silly. I can't really understand how that works, why the boxes aren't lower, but whatever. So lots of high weight.
Yeah.
And we were going up our very, very, very steep hill.
The steepest hill and round a bend. I was then wanting to reverse or roll backwards into a driveway because it was basically the only way
to get onto
you
it.
could navigate onto the driveway was by rolling the bike backwards. You couldn't kind of come in front ways because it was too steep round
Because
the
it
corner.
was not only just steep, but it was actually tilted. So the whole of the thing was like on a hill and steep.
Yeah.
So if you imagine you had to kind of go like that, you had to drive up, and so you were tilting to the left and backwards. So lots of weird manoeuvres even in the car to get on this drive. So Sean tried to do that with me on the back.
Yeah, so
My genius, I
you
said,
actually said, let's...
why don't you reverse? Because obviously there's reverse gear in a bike, right? I don't ride a bike.
Yeah, well, some bikes have reverse, but this one doesn't. So I went up and then I was fiddling, trying to change the bike from drive into neutral, which I'm obviously not used to.
Yeah.
And then...
And it normally holds it.
It holds it in drive, and then as soon as I went into neutral, I had the front brake applied. Because it was so heavy, it just dragged the front wheel. And then I was panicking, trying to apply the rear brake.
Yeah.
I couldn't get to it in time.
No.
And we just sort of did a standing fall, didn't we? And we tipped. And because it was so high, you actually fell...
Quite far.
You actually fell off.
I fell from grace.
Yeah.
It felt like falling off a horse.
Yeah, it was...
And obviously all the weight was on Sean's left leg. My feet can't touch the ground anywhere near. I'm dangling like this on the top of this big stallion.
At least that's good that you sort of bounced away from the bike. It could have been quite
so
bad.
I just bounced off and rolled down into the orchard, onto the rocks.
It sounds funny, but it was actually... It could have
been bad.
Yeah.
But obviously, Sean, you were trying to stop the bike. But what's amazing, right? This bike must have been like 300 kilos at this point. It was like, it wasn't on me, but obviously I was down, sort of under the bike. Sean had also fallen off and cut himself. And he just lifted the bike, though it was nothing. He just got up, and within a second, the bike was up. And I was like, you couldn't do that yesterday. So it's obviously that adrenaline thing kicked in.
Adrenaline thing. I was worried that
because
one
he
of us was
thought
underneath
I was
it,
stuck under the bike.
But
the story gets funnier than that.
I've
got to tell the
Go
story.
on, you tell it.
So the guy living below was the dad of the guy we were renting the
It was in
apartment
Croatia.
from.
It was
Brilliant
in
man
Croatia.
called Josef.
Yeah, I think it was Joseph.
Really fun guy. He didn't speak any English
Drank
at all.
loads of beer.
Gave Sean a beer every single time we came in or out of the apartment, even if we were going out in the
I
car.
was driving. I can't drink it now, but thanks.
So he comes running out, sees this, comes running out. He's in his pants, so he's obviously getting dressed.
You were crying.
Yeah. Do you want to tell it?
No, carry on.
So I'm crying.
Yeah.
He's in his pants. That didn't make me cry more, but just set the scene. And he came running out, saw me crying, looked at my cut arm, and pointed to his arm. So he'd been in the Bosnian War and stood on a landmine and had his arm obliterated. So he had like a stump of an arm, and showed me his arm, which was like damaged, and said, "Don't cry, it's not this bad." And then started laughing and like basically carried me into his house to make sure I was okay and Sean okay.
Kit, yeah.
Yeah. So it was all very dramatic and funny at the same time.
Yeah.
Very, very sweet.
Yeah.
It really made me laugh. Him going, "Look, listen, love, like at least it's not like this."
Yeah, you
Fair
fell off
point.
in Africa.
Fair point.
But an anti-personnel mine is worse.
Yeah, slightly.
So, not only that, it was just, the bike didn't really suit me, and it was expensive, and I really wanted my own bike because I really like my bike. It's the Gold Star. I just, head over heels for that bike. It's just a passion, isn't it? So
it is a passion, because every time he walks past it, it's parked outside our apartment at the moment, and he normally doesn't see it because it's in the shed at home. So he walks past it, and every time has a little like whoop of joy and points to it and laughs and smiles. So definitely a good move. That girl brings you bike. I'm just going to shut up.
Okay, let me take over. Right. So I got this. We got this plan to get the Gold Star to Spain, which is actually quite a long way. It's 1,200 miles, something like that. You include the UK bit.
Yeah.
Down through France. So I went back and forth. Do we take the Channel Tunnel and drive, or do we take the ferry? And then I kind of came to a realization about 2 weeks before we were going to leave that definitely take the ferry, because it just cuts out all that driving. Suzie didn't come on the ferry because it was meant to be quite stormy, or can be quite stormy in the winter in the Bay of Biscay. But I hooked up a trailer. I actually used the Motolug folding motorcycle trailer. And we kind of went back and forth. Should we get the folding one or just a regular trailer? And the folding one is a bit more expensive, but
Double more expensive.
It's about double more expensive of a
There's a
regular
lot.
motorcycle trailer, but it can be folded up and put in the corner of a room, really, whereas you can't do that with the like a traditional trailer. So we put the bike on the trailer, and it's got this clamp thing that locates the bike. Luckily, it all fits the 18-inch front wheel. We ratchet strapped everything together, and I drove through the UK in the pouring rain in the dark, like literally in a constant state of anxiety, looking in the rear view mirror to see if this bike was still attached, because I've never towed a bike on a trailer before. You can't reverse with a trailer that small, or at least I definitely can't. I practiced once and just went totally to a disaster. So we got this new policy that, actually, as we said in the start of this video, keep on going forward, never turn back, never look behind you, because it's
That's the
literally,
only part of the New Year resolution we are doing.
yeah, literally and figuratively, we can't turn around with this trailer on because I can't reverse it round corners because it's such a small trailer and it's impossible to see. It's like literally the hardest thing ever. I tried it. It doesn't work. So we just go forwards and we think really carefully about where we're going to park with the trailer. You actually haven't been in the car with the trailer yet, so you'll experience all this when we move on to the next destination. But anyway, the Gold Star is here, and we're going to take the Gold Star out and ride it round some of the areas in Girona, that area. I've also contacted a motorcycle dealership called Girona Moto Shop, and they actually supply Vosges, which is quite cool because I like Vosges, obviously, BSA, Vespa, Horton, some kind of like cool, you can tell from the brands they stock that it's kind of a cool motorcycle dealership. So I've emailed them just to ask if I can come and ride some of their bikes. We're only here for a short while, but maybe we get an odd day when we can go over there. And let's see, they might ignore the email, but we might get a chance to ride some bikes over here, some of their demo bikes.
I'll pull out my best Spanish.
Yeah, we both need to learn some Spanish, I think, don't we?
Well, yeah, I need to practice.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing is, if you've listened to up until now, thanks very much. I do need to put a bit of a disclaimer out. The camera, which I was talking about in the previous video, the iZika IA200, we reviewed it for image quality, which seemed to be quite good for the price. But now we've developed a little problem with the SD card that it shoots out of the camera. So if you are going to buy it, then please hold fire until we've got some resolution from the company. So I've emailed them. They're going to send a replacement, I think. Let's just check that it's a one-off thing with my camera, not a problem that perhaps would be in all the cameras, because I wouldn't want somebody to buy something that wasn't very good.
Yeah.
So that's it, really. Yeah. Anything to add?
Nope. I had a sea swim this morning. I'm happy.
Susie's happy.
The sun is out. We went in the sea. Cold water therapy.
Yeah, bro.
Job done.
So we might have some videos up over the next few days and weeks.
We will.
We got no kind of set plan, but yeah, we'll just see how as we go.
You'll see some pillion riding as well. Oh.
All right, until next time, guys. I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, thanks for listening.